All right, this is my fifth Yahoo fantasy football draft, my fifth pro league, that is, and I'm going to go recap style because I tried to record this via Loom and the audio worked, but there was just too much going on as far as surround sound at my home. So I decided to, and you can see I'm chomping on dinner, so I figured, you know what, I'm just going to record some audio on the side, plug it in, and trim all the clips down so you're only seeing my picks. So instead of a 40-minute vid, like last time, you get to only watch 20% of the screen time and just see my picks. I got the first pick with this draft, so of course I'm going Barkley. I don't think there's any contest there. I mean, I know you can make a case, McCaffrey, Kamara, but unless you're doing full PPR, which in that case I think you can make a case for McCaffrey be number one. I think in half PPR, you gotta go Barkley. So anyway, so this was a good draft for me because I got the turn, get the first pick. I really think the first pick is going to feature a lot of league winners this year, and so I went Kerryon because he is, to me, a top 20 player this year, top 25 with top 15 upside. And, you know, if all goes well in Detroit, of course, barring injury. The third pick, this was probably one that some of you would disagree with, but again, I'm thinking upside here, and I wanted to take Keenan, but I just had a hard time it was between Antonio Brown or Keenan, and at this point, because this was recorded about a week ago, on this particular day, the arrow was pointing up. He was back. I think this was the 16th, 15th. I think he was coming back and seemed to be all in. And here's someone, if he's focused, he could be the best wide receiver in the game. But of course, there's a lot of hurdles, learning a new offense and a new location that is on the move. I took Antonio Brown, and I know I inherited quite a bit of risk, but I picked 25, which is kind of near his ADP anyway, maybe a little behind his ADP in certain leagues. Had to go Brown. That may come back to haunt me, who knows? But with Barkley and Johnson as my running back duo, I feel like I could take on a little bit of risk at the third spot, which I still think first 5 rounds you got to inherit as little risk as possible. But I want to have multiple leagues this year, and I wanted at least one share of Brown, and this team is going to have my one share of Brown. I was happy to get Woods, and as you'll see as I build this team, I combat the risk I took with Brown with safer plays, you could say, but still with a fair bit of upside. Woods is still going to be part of an elite offense in LA, I believe. There might be some regression there, but I think Goff improves. We're now getting in further on. I'm kind of getting behind here. I selected Ingram for my flex spot. I think he's a very capable RB3, and he would be a fine RB2 in situations where I went running back and maybe the next 3 picks were wide receiver, and I'm coming back in round 5 with Ingram, but you could justify Ingram in the 4th round. I went Moore. I didn't have a share of Moore. I went Howard as well, and the goal was to get Cam Newton to pair with Moore on weeks where maybe one of my running backs is out, and I go wide receiver in that flex spot. And with Newton as my quarterback, I figured that would be a good combination to pursue. So that's why I'm moving Newton up right now, and I went ahead and grabbed him. Around this time last week, news had come out on Gordon that he was probably going to hold out through the first week or two, and who knows. So I wanted to pursue a share of Eckler. So I go Newton here. I already had a share of Kirk. I already had a tight end, so I thought about Cook. You know, I put some target some players I didn't have shares of. I went Newton. I think I went early with. Did I go Eckler? Yeah, I went Eckler here. So I went early with him. I could have waited, but in most drafts that I've been in, Eckler has gone before pick 100, so I didn't want to risk losing him because I'm big on Eckler this year. I know that it's going to be a 60-40 split with the carries in Los Angeles. I think there's a very real possibility Gordon holds out and has a Le'Veon Bell 2.0, and then you want to get an Eckler share as an RB4. So that was pretty cool. I was able to nab him in. All right. I thought about Kyler Murray around this point as a QB2, because this was kind of before his preseason game in which he really bombed. So people were much higher, and you could see his ADP rise, number 74. One kicker, I think that if you can get an elite kicker in a double-digit round, before the last round, that is, that's not a bad thing. So at this point, I still needed a defense, but I was building depth. I was surprised Baltimore fell to pick 118, so I felt good about that. At this point, didn't have Baltimore in any of my other teams, and so that matched my roster construction. I totally missed the fact that I grabbed Russell Wilson. He fell to like the 8th or 9th round, way past like in the 105 range, so I was really happy to get Wilson, and with Newton injured, I got a steal. I got 2 QB1s on my roster, and I was just really surprised that Wilson fell past pick 100. Going with a backup tight end, or at least I'm thinking. Oh, you know what? I hadn't picked Baltimore yet. There we go. Now I picked Baltimore. I think, do I go Jackson here? I'm pretty sure. I'm big on Jackson. In general, I think Howard is 4th consensus tight end, so you can make a case of not drafting a second tight end in standard mixed formats or half PPR 10-team league formats, which I think is the definition of shallow if you're only 10 strong. So I have the best kicker in the game. I have a top 3 defense, arguably, maybe top 5, but we'll see. This was just kind of the last round. I'm just looking for upside picks. I really like Samuels. I'm just trying to flesh things out, contemplate injury risk. I think all my guys could easily go most of the season without getting hurt. Not a lot of injury risk. Brown is a performance risk. He's just a risk of entirely different color / animal. I'm not a believer in judging a draft simply by projected points, but I think that overall I got a quality team with a high chance of making the playoffs. I think per the football guys, I plug my team in with their metrics and have an 80% chance of making the playoffs. And of course, I'll be making some adjustments along the way. So hope you enjoyed this recap. Hope you learned a little bit something new, and hopefully you like the shorter format. Try to have more of these recaps moving forward. Peace.